Okay. Thanks, everybody, once again for being with us for this session. And I'm going to talk about TBLT in the age of AI revolution.
Said.
Hmm.
Now, at the beginning of presentation, I feel that, okay, now we are reaching sort of an impasse, we say. Okay, so we are doing TBLT, and are here just to see and so on. And then all of a sudden, at the beginning presentation, I was somehow, I mean, hesitant. Okay, now, no, do we need just to carry on with this TBLT and so on or not? And then when you delve into how we can use technology, again, ChatGPT and the like and so on, we see that really now there's another. Always some hope, so we can work it out despite all the difficulties now being raised so far against the TBLT.
Mhm.
My question is specifically about what are the prompts that you give to ChatGPT, specifically where there was the info,
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
and then ChatGPT analyzed whether the task had low input,
Yeah.
yeah, or medium input or things
Yeah.
like that,
You
like
know,
that.
that's a great question. And to answer that question, I need to once again to highlight the fact that ChatGPT has advanced so much. What ChatGPT could do last year was just very, very minimal. I was very disappointed. But now ChatGPT can do a lot. I don't have to prompt ChatGPT too much. It just gives me a very simple prompt will lead to some useful output, and I take it from there.
And I have a question, I guess, that relates to teacher training in particular. So could
Yep.
you maybe elaborate on
Uh-huh.
um, how you see overcoming some of the challenges, but and also how would you sell AI to teachers in training and teachers in service now?
Sure, that's a great question. In fact, we have been doing the integration of AI and TBLT in our professional development program. So it's something that's very naturally embedded in our syllabus. I don't have time to show, the sample work produced by the participants in the professional development programs. Do that. But for us, this is a very natural part of the teacher education process. And if anything that I want to share with anyone who is in the field of doing teacher professional development, you go with the integration. Don't separate AI as a sort of a separate independent subject.
So something that I wanted to ask about, and it's something that I actually think a lot about in my own teaching is, so I feel like pedagogy sort of says that we should privilege authentic materials
Yep.
in teaching.
Yep.
And so this is a point that I struggle a lot with actually, is like in using like ChatGPT, the like in asking it to produce materials, it sort of makes me feel squeamish at times, or it makes me feel some kind of way, I think, in using input that's provided by ChatGPT, because even though it comes from
Right.
naturally occurring language samples, that it's
Right.
scraped there, but in
Right.
some ways it makes me
Right.
feel a little bit
Well, certainly
strange.
it is not the type of language you yourself, as a real speaker of the language, would produce. That's very true. But we have to face the reality. We now have a new language norm
Mm.
produced by AI, which is based on its training on large data sets. That's a new norm. And that language norm is actually permeating many fields now. I didn't get a chance to, again, I had to cut many, many slides from my original version for this keynote. Some of the slides were actually related to authentic materials and how AI can do a beautiful job in kind of producing materials for different levels of proficiency, simplifying, making, the text more complex. AI does it just, so efficiently.
Yeah, and I think I realized too, like textbooks, if you're using a textbook, that's maybe not also an,
Oh, that's
necessary.
terrible. I mean, compared to the language you see in textbooks,
Right.
I mean, the language produced by AI is way, way more authentic. It's way
Yeah, I
more authentic. But I do get what you're saying. It's like, nowadays reading emails from prospective students, they all look the same. They all follow the same structure, which makes it hard for you to tell how much of it comes from the prospective student and how much comes from AI. With that said, at least the emails are readable. You know what I mean?
fair enough. Thanks, Dr. Han. I appreciate it.
Right.
Do you think students use AI can complete, some classroom tasks can enhance their language ability? It's
Yeah, research shows yes. Research, we still need to see more research, but existing research shows that the use of AI has a lot of potential in promoting language development.
Okay. And do you have any kind of a relevant, the programs and to lead the teachers to lead the students to use the AI wisely or, during the class? And how can the teacher
That's
assist the
part of our discussion in our certificate programs. Because
Thank you.
teachers have concerns, and very often those teachers who have concerns tend to shy away from AI, thinking AI is really evil. It does not promote learning, and that is absolutely not true. Very often it has to do with their own lack of AI literacy. They don't even know how to actually navigate large language models. So professional development. So you have teachers like that, send them to our certificate programs to get trained.
So my question um, is that possible to, as learning a second language, is that possible through AI or or maybe developed program integrated with AI? So there's no need really person to rely on the really person, just
Yeah,
based on the
no,
AI
it needs to
robot.
be, the learning needs to be human guided. It needs to be instructor guided. Learning
Yes,
from
yes,
AI needs to be instructor guided, but then that puts the onus on the instructor. The instructor needs to have a deep understanding of what
yes.
promotes learning, what is needed for learning to take place.
Okay.
So
So
what the answer is not yes or no, whether students, yes, students are able to learn from AI or no, they're not able to learn AI. It's more about how they engage with AI. That part needs to be guided by the instructor, provided the instructor has a good understanding.
I mean, talking about authenticity as a principle of TBLT, and also talking about the if we consider like the individual differences, the affective dimension in the learning, I mean, process. To what extent do you think like AI may help or hinder, I mean, us as teachers and researchers to think about these problems? I mean, like these very challenging issues, like when
Yeah.
we think about the individual difference and also the motivation and affective dimension. So, what?
Sure. Yeah, those are great questions. Thank you. Uh, a way to think about those questions is to first of all think about AI. It's developing very rapidly. Actually, for that reason, I hesitate to write a book about it because I think what I write today perhaps will be outdated tomorrow. So I can't. It's better to actually disseminate understanding through these conference at these kinds of conference, venues. So AI develops so rapidly, right? It's going to be more and more human-like. So the concerns that we have right now about lack of emotion, lack of, individuality, identity, and so those things over time are going to go away. That's just the trend of development. And the other thing that we need to bring into this discussion, thinking about your questions, how to deal with motivation, the affective dimension of students, et cetera, like how to, motivate heritage speakers of Arabic to learn more Arabic, right? Or Chinese. That needs to be addressed in the classroom. Remember, in our discussion in the TC Tunisia program, we talked about complexity and difficulty. So that's more a difficulty issue to be addressed face to face in the classroom.